Let's talk about mourning the father you didn't have, but that you needed. There is a kind of grief that doesn't get talked about enough. And it's not the grief of losing someone to death. It's the grief of having someone still alive, but emotionally unavailable. It's checking your phone on your birthday, knowing they probably won't call. It's debating whether to text them on their birthday, even though every interaction leaves you feeling unseen, dismissed, or small and disappointed. And the hardest part that you don't miss them actually. You miss the version that you needed them to be, but you never had. Hi, I'm Karina Aybar, psychotherapist and coach, and on this channel we talk about healing from parentification, trauma, attachment wounds, and growing up in dysfunctional family systems so that you can understand why you feel the way you do, build self-worth from the inside out, set boundaries without guilt so that you can build more secure and safe relationships. And by the end of this video, you will understand why this kind of grief feels so confusing and hard to move on from, how the father wound shapes your attachment in adult relationships, and how to begin creating emotional closure within yourself without needing them to change. So let's talk about the grief that has no funeral. Let's name this clearly. This is ambiguous grief. It's grief without closure, grief without validation, and grief that society doesn't always recognize, because from the outside, people might say, well, at least your parent is still alive, your father is still around and calls once in a while. Or maybe you are being too hard on him. At the end of the day, at least you have a parent, and eventually, they will pass away. Might as well enjoy whatever you get, or just forgive them and move on. But your nervous system knows the truth. You weren't just looking for a father who existed. You were looking for a father who showed interest in your inner world, in your feelings, how you were doing at work, and any challenges that you were going through. Ideally, a father that protected you emotionally and validated your feelings and made you feel chosen and not tolerated and maybe protected. And when that's missing, your brain doesn't register it as no big deal. It registers it as a loss, as a sense of inadequacy that you may not be recognizing, but that manifests in your adult relationships. So imagine this: when a child experiences emotional inconsistency or neglect, the brain adapts and the amygdala becomes more sensitive, constantly scanning. Is he going to show up this time? The prefrontal cortex tries to rationalize. Maybe this time will be different. And the reward system, the dopamine, gets activated by inconsistency, making you crave the rare moments of connections that you may have when you had a decent conversation with your father. And this is why you can feel deeply attracted to someone who has constantly disappointed you. And it is not weakness, it is actually conditioning. Let's talk about mourning the father you didn't have, but that you needed. And this is the part that no one prepares you for. You are not just grieving what happened, you are grieving what never got to happen. The conversations that you never had, the guidance that you never received, and the emotional safety that you deserved but didn't experience. And this grief can show up in subtle, everyday ways. And I want to give you an example because this is something I observe in my practice a lot, and that I also experienced growing up, having a father wound and a father that was absent. Very sweet person, but was emotionally unavailable and not present physically as well. So imagine this: it's your father's birthday, and you pick up your phone and you pause and you think, maybe I should text him. It's the right thing to do. But last time, he barely responded. And what if he ignores me again? What if I regret not reaching out? So now you're not just deciding whether to send a text message. You're actually navigating these complex emotions, this dichotomy in your head and in your body, because you've had these mixed experiences, right? You're experiencing hope, but you're experiencing fear, you're experiencing obligation, you are experiencing disappointment, guilt, and all of these emotions create a lot of stressors and anxiety all at once. And whatever you choose to do, there's often a cost. Now, this is the part where I want to emphasize. This is why hope keeps you stuck. Hope can be so beautiful, but in this dynamic, hope can also become the thing that keeps you stuck in cycles of emotional harm, because hope sounds like maybe this time around he will be different. Maybe he just doesn't know how. Maybe if I say things the right way, he will understand or could validate me. So you keep engaging, you keep reaching out, even though it hasn't been reciprocal. You keep explaining yourself, you keep minimizing your needs, and you keep giving more chances to your parent. And don't get me wrong, I am a strong believer in advocating for repair and acting in alignment with your values. However, there is also a limit, and not every parent has the capacity to bring you to safety and to be validating and to be healthy. So you reaching out to an emotionally unavailable parent who lacks accountability reinforces this belief that maybe you're asking too much. And this has an impact on your attachment, a great impact, in fact. This dynamic often creates an anxious or disorganized attachment style. You see, in adult relationships, this can look like feeling drawn to emotionally unavailable partners and overanalyzing text, tone, and effort, confusing inconsistency with chemistry, and feeling like you have to earn love, and you struggle to trust steady, available people because they do not trigger this adrenaline that you are seeking. Love may equal unpredictability, and effort could equal emotional task. So when something is calm, consistent, and safe, it can actually feel unfamiliar or even boring. And more on that on a previous video that I will link below. So this is why many people with a father wound didn't just experience absence, they actually adapted. And you might have become the overachiever, and maybe you told yourself, if I succeed, he will notice me. He will acknowledge and brag about me and feel proud of me. Or maybe you became the caretaker. You told yourself, I will be safe, or I'll be easy to love if I don't need much. Or the independent one, in fact, hyper-independent one. I don't need anyone anyway. But underneath all of that, there is often a younger part of you that is still asking, why wasn't I enough for him to show up? And this is where the healing begins. It is not by fixing him, not by fixing the relationship, because in essence, what you're doing is you are taking responsibility for a two-sided relationship. But by releasing the belief that it was ever about your worth is when we begin to heal. Let's redefine the relationship without abandoning yourself. Healing doesn't always mean cutting someone off, but it does mean getting honest. And instead of asking, how do I finally get him to show up for me? We shift the question to, what kind of relationship can I realistically have without harming myself, without continuing to abandon myself and my values and my boundaries? And this might look like lowering expectations to match reality, setting emotional boundaries. For example, not sharing vulnerable parts that he cannot hold for you, or choosing when and how you engage with your father, or accepting that connection may be limited and grieving that fully. Maybe they can show up for you in a practical way. Maybe you can ask for help. And that is why it is important to embrace a cognitive reframe. Instead of if I try harder, maybe he will change. Try, I can care about him without depending on him to meet needs he has consistently shown he cannot meet. And that is not giving up. That is actually self-respect. And this is, of course, if you choose to continue to have a relationship with your father. It is very difficult, and this is why I'm a facilitator, and ideally you want to have a parent that can be there for you, but sometimes, right, it's out of our control. Now, let's talk about creating closure within yourself. This is the transformation, because waiting for closure from someone who lacks emotional capacity can keep you waiting for years. So we begin to create closure internally. And here is a practical exercise that I want to offer you. And these are the 2 letters. Letter number 1, that would be your unfiltered truth. I want you to write everything you wish you could say to your father. The hurt, the disappointment, the unmet needs, the anger, the longing, and anything that you wish that you would have experienced in that relationship. No censoring, not editing yourself. It is important to be completely honest with yourself. Now let's transition to letter number 2, the loving inner parent response. I want you to now respond to yourself as the father you needed. For example, I see how hard that was for you. Or you deserved consistency and care. It was never your job to earn love. It was never about how lovable you are. I am here for you now. You see, this is how you begin to rewire your attachment style, your attachment system in relationships. Now, I want to offer you a somatic anchor. When the urge to seek validation from him comes up, I want you to place your hand on your chest and gently say, I can hold myself through this moment. And slow your breath and let your body feel supported by you. Because healing is not only cognitive, it's also embodied. It is about acknowledging all of our emotions, and that includes acknowledging the shifts in our body so that we can begin to understand what triggers us. Over time, something powerful begins to happen. You stop chasing closure externally and start cultivating internal safety and validation. You begin to choose relationships that feel reciprocal and tolerate consistency without suspicion, without sabotaging the relationship. And you begin to express needs without shame and without guilt that you would be categorized as rude or aggressive. And you trust yourself to walk away when necessary. And most importantly, you stop measuring your worth by someone else's limitations. Now, if this resonated with you, I want you to know that there is nothing wrong with you, and unfortunately, this is very common. There's nothing wrong for grieving someone who is still alive. Healing doesn't mean that you stop caring, but it means that you stop abandoning yourself in the process. And if you are on this journey, I invite you to stay with me on this channel where we go deeper into these patterns and how to heal them. Every Monday, every week. And if you are ready for more structured support, more personalized support, tools, and a community that truly understands this experience, then you will find that inside our Self-Worth Help community. Learn more in the link in the description. Now, tell me, have you ever struggled with whether or not to reach out to protect your peace? I would love to hear from you and your experiences if this resonates. I will see you in the next video, and please remember your resilience.